Hello, my name is Robert Drake, and when I asked the question, are schools making the most of new technologies, I can think no, and I'll give 3 reasons why I feel that way. One is the lack of money in public schools. Schools are struggling. We're building a school a year where I'm at, and so we're limited, and so we're only limited to openly licensed educational resources. A lot of folks are. According to the Department of Education, the Office of Technology, Educational Technology, they say that most school systems go that route, and those that can't, they can't spend a great deal on other things. They're also limited by the number of devices used because those devices are not free. Somebody's paying for them. And so our second reason is the reluctance of teachers to become facilitators. And because in technology, if a teacher is truly the key to technical integration, according to Bittner and Bittner, and as stated, in the teacher being the key, the teacher has to move from the center of learning to a facilitator of learning. As stated in the IST Standards of Education, is that they need to facilitate that learning to take place, and so that students will be able to take ownership and of their learning. And finally, the teacher must use their classroom to be focused on the student learning instead of content driven. And in their book Rethinking Education in the Age of Technology, the Digital Revolution in Schooling in America, say that 5 times in a row, by Collin and Halvorson, they focus that the teacher is reluctant most of the time to move from that being the center of all education and being the center of all learning, and to be able to let their students to find and to be able for them and using technology to find that. And so with the teacher being the key, and the teacher a lot of times not feeling comfortable, as stated in different studies, and therefore I would say that the making the most of new technologies is not going to take place. And finally, it's the restriction caused by state standardized testing. You know, state standardized testing is not something new. It's been around for a little while now, but it stated in that also in the Collin and Halvorson, they state that when you move to interest-driven learning, that's not content-driven learning. And the standardized testings a lot of times builds a wall and reshapes. As long as teachers, as long as schools, as long as school systems are judged on standardized testings, they're going to go only in that box. They're not going to open up for students to have interest-driven learning where they'll be driven and take ownership. And so standardized testing confines that student learning. And also it confines student choices. You know, the IST standard for students says for them to take ownership, to take an active role in choosing and achieving their learning goals. Well, they can't do that when they're restricted to only certain material. And so because of money, the lack of money in public schools, the reluctance of teachers and to become facilitators, and also the restriction caused by the state standardized testing, I can say that schools are not making the most of what the new technologies that are available for them.